If you've been playing Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes and realized that it's kind of hard to earn gold, especially in the early game, you're not alone. Hanging around the 3 Hopes Reddit Discord channel, the question of how do you get money will pop up sometimes. And this video contains some very straightforward tips that at least helped me quickly gain more gold than normal. There is unfortunate news though. Gold grinding actually sucks in this game. And if you don't like spending time for the explicit purpose to grind, there's no common but highly priced item to sell. You don't earn that much gold in the early to mid game on new game, and everything sells for incredibly cheap, and things start to cost more and more gold to get things done. Upgrading facilities, forging weapons, and leveling up all start to climb in price as you progress, leaving you with less and less gold in your inventory whenever it's time to spend money to progress your base, weapons, and characters. Gold is only really easy to earn mid to late game in any given route. There's also New Game Plus, but I would also count that as end game content because everything transfers over. Gold doesn't even scale up with the higher difficulties, and even A rank weapons only sell for like 200 to 300 gold. It's really stingy. They're probably going to sell DLC that gives an ass ton of gold, but this is the base game, and this is what we're working with for now. But fret not, there are some strategies and some maps in particular on each route that are actually decent to grind gold and experience on. The basics. If you want to get ahead when it comes to earning gold in battle, Despoil earns you gold for defeating enemies, which is objectively your best and easiest way to increase gold earned, and Appraisal increases the quality of weapon drops, which, while marginal, very marginal, does make their sell prices higher. Shez learns both, thankfully. Balthus is your other money-making strategy. Golden Fists do the following. Golden Fists level 1, 2, and 3 at 300 hits and above, 200 hits and above, 150 hits and above, power up attacks proportional to the hit count. Sending enemies flying grants a very small, and fair amount of gold depending on the level as well. Using Balthus in battle and quote-unquote sending enemies flying will trigger Golden Fists. The description is pretty vague and doesn't really mean what it says. It's not just hitting enemies in the air, but it's kind of like how certain normal and strong attacks will trigger elemental effects for the lords. You just need to experiment with what buttons trigger Golden Fists. Unfortunately, the yield for level 1 is pretty low, so getting him to level 3 is a high priority. Chapter 10 is when the highest quality building materials can be purchased for increasing the ability level to level 3 at the Tactics Instructor. Unfortunately, Balthus does not learn Despoil himself, so it's only the second best method that is related to abilities. Finally, we're going to go into a very bit of minor spoiler territory. So if you don't want to learn about the third ability related method, I would advise caution listening more. This isn't a story/secret character spoiler at all. It's an item Shez receives midway through any campaign. So don't worry. It's literally just about a certain item you get during the mid game. If you don't want to hear about this, skip to here. Okay, 3, 2, 1, spoiler-ish warning. This item is Shez's unique gift item. If you give this item to anyone they have an A support with, that character will give Shez a unique held item of their own. When such an item is held, the holder will switch out their unique action ability with that of the unit. So if Shez gives the Merc Whistle to Balthus, they will receive Secret Medicine. When equipped, the holder can now use Golden Fists themselves. In practice, this would mean that you can stack Despoil and Golden Fists together, pair Shez with a Cavalier Adjutant, and spam strong attacks and defeat enemies to earn significantly more gold than normal. Shez's unique classes can very easily reach 150 to 300 hits, and the added mobility will make up for not having Shadow Slide anymore. You could do something similar with Ferdinand, who learns Despoil and is a mounted class too, just pick your preference. It's important to note that at the time of this writing, the formula for how Despoil actually works is unknown, but what is known is that commanders drop more gold than regular soldiers, and gold seems to scale up more on later chapters. Notable chapters. Unfortunately, there are few uniquely good battle maps that are good for farming equipment and gold, but here are some notable ones. These should be done on easy mode for the fastest clear times unless otherwise stated. In chapter 12 of Azure Gleam, there is a 1-unit only map called Intel on the Imperial Army. It's good because it's short, easy, and you don't need to sit through dialogue. In chapter 14 of Scarlet Blaze, there's an auxiliary map, Chaos in Albany, which has the added challenge of increased damage dealt and taken, making it easier to clear. In the end game of Golden Wildfire, there is simply a lot of gold to be farmed. Finally, there is that chapter. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It does give lots of gold, around 20,000 to 40,000 per run, but you do have to sit through dialogue midway through the chapter. Fulfilling side missions and S ranking in a map will also give bonus gold. Selling material. You may not have noticed, but once you finish the entry and mid-level facility upgrades, they only serve two purposes now, either to be recycled into smithing stones for forging, or to be simply sold. You'll be surprised at how much gold you can earn by simply selling the materials you don't need. To a much lesser extent, ingredients and random low quality and low rank weapons can be sold in bulk, which can also help funds. And yeah, that's essentially the only really good ways to make gold in this game. It actually does suck pretty bad that everything feels worthless except for bullions, and it's even more unfortunate because you can't even grind rare weapon and rusted weapons to repair and sell back to the item or weapons dealer because they don't sell for anything. You can get a max forged legendary A rank weapon, try to sell it, and earn like 400 gold only. It's actually so incredibly cheap, and I can't help but wonder if they're gonna start baiting with DLC, like get this DLC pack and you can earn like 50,000 gold in like 10 seconds type thing, like they kind of did with a lot of Fire Emblem DLC already. In any case, this is pretty much how you can only grind gold. In the early and mid game, it is unfortunately very bad. In the late game, and especially New Game Plus, when you essentially have late game plus everything else, earning gold is way easier. So if you were also struggling with keeping up with your gold while trying to progress everything in your base and your characters, you are not alone. It is a problem in this game. And that's essentially the end of this guide. So it wasn't a huge guide, but the game is still new and people were asking about this, so I figured it could be a decently useful guide, especially for people who are like, why can't I earn anything? With that all being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. And if you did learn something, please let me know down in the comments below. And if there's any other guides like weapon forging or the whole base guide in general that you're curious to know about, let me know in the comments and I might write another guide for it. Like I said, guides are pretty spoiler free and are pretty good for the content right now. I'm still not even finished the base game yet. I still have yet to play Golden Wildfire, and that stream will probably start happening sometime this week. With that all being said, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as well, the channel is like 200 subscribers away from 97,000, and it would mean so much if you could help get the channel there and ultimately get to the 100,000 subscriber goal, which the channel is so close to, and I would be very thankful. And I hope you have a more successful gold grinding experience than you did 10-ish minutes ago. Thanks for watching. Deuces.
You